welcome to the Atheist Community of Austin. This is our first introductory show. My name is Joe Zamecki. I'm a member of the Atheist Community of Austin. And with me today I have...
I'm Mary Sue Osborne, and I'm a member of the Board of Directors of ACA and the Social Director.
Hi, I'm Don Rhoades. I'm co-coordinator of the Atheist Community of Austin, and we're delighted to be here with you today.
Alrighty then. I'm going to be starting off with this in an interview fashion. First question we have is, what exactly is an atheist?
Well, I think an atheist is somebody that doesn't have a belief in the supernatural. We don't believe in magic, or we don't accept the truth of things like gods or spirits or souls or afterlife or anything like that.
And also, I would add that an atheist not only doesn't believe in God, in a supreme being, but tends to be a person who is a skeptic, who examines with reason any statement that's put out by anyone. And does that tell you enough, Joe?
Sure.
One other point I'd just like to make is that because someone says they're an atheist, that is very different than saying they're a Satanist. I don't know how some people can make that connection, but Satanism is a religion or a religious position, and Satanists believe in God, believe in the devil, demons, whatever it is they believe in, and we accept none of that. We do not accept the truth of any of that.
That's a good point.
All right. What exactly is the Atheist Community of Austin?
The Atheist Community of Austin is started about a year ago as a social group. There was one woman who had come to her belief in atheism independently and felt she was isolated and wanted to get together with other atheists. And this woman is Kellen Van Houser. And she looked in the phone book, found the name of an atheist group, met with the person, and started meeting weekly for a discussion group, just to have the social interaction. And that's how ACA began.
All right.
There's some more.
Sure.
Well, I remember many months ago, almost a year ago, I saw a tiny little ad on the back of the Chronicle for an atheist discussion group, and I can't tell you how the chills went up my spine, because when you are an atheist, typically you're out there by yourself. Usually you come to that decision by yourself. Frequently it's a tough choice, and we often do not have people like us to talk to. Suddenly, here's some people that are atheists that want to sit down and talk. I was delighted. So we met at a downtown bagel shop and had some wonderful discussions. And gradually, the group evolved, and now we have a constitution and a charter. We have applied with the IRS for status as a nonprofit educational corporation. And that is really why we're here today. This is to educate those who might be interested in our opinions, whether they're atheists or not, whether they agree or not. We would like to honestly inform.
Why have an atheist group? Why do you feel it's necessary? What do people look for in that, and what's the purpose of it overall?
We talked about this a little bit before. When you come to the understanding that you're an atheist and that you question all those things that some other people don't, and you feel isolated, our group is important to each of us in different ways, but one of the things it does is to help to educate us. There are so many books, articles by great writers who are atheists in the past and the present that we all can tell each other about. We socialize. We support each other.
That's very true, at least in my life. The fact that I can go someplace and talk freely about philosophies or belief systems, or just things that have nothing to do with atheism, but to be able to discuss them with atheists is very special. And it's meant a lot in my life. I feel it's very supportive of me as a person, just exactly as I am. And I've enjoyed it tremendously. And it's a very interesting group of people, too, very diverse, a wonderful group.
All right. What kind of people belong to the Atheist Community of Austin? I guess you've answered some of that question already, but let's get a little more in depth about what kind of members, what kind of atheists, and what kind of people are atheists who are willing to join a group of atheists like this.
Well, we can each tell you about ourselves individually. I'm a nurse, a registered nurse. I'm a grandmother. I have 2 grandsons, ages 9 and 12, a daughter and 2 sons. I like to, read, especially. You talked about atheists and reading. How about you, Don?
Well, I work for a local semiconductor manufacturer, and I'm a dad, and I enjoy being a dad. And I think professionally, there's a huge diversity in the group. Age-wise, there's a huge diversity in the group. Really, it's the only common connection is that we're all atheists and upfront about being atheists. There are lots of there's a lot of good experiences to hear about in the group. We hear lots of insights into politics, into science. There's lots of people that have a good background in science, and we get a lot of laughs. There's some good joke tellers in the group too.
Lots of humor.
All right. What kind of activities does the Atheist Community of Austin participate in?
Well, we have some things that are purely social, and we really enjoy it. We've picnicked, we've had themed dinners, we've happy houred, we've had a solstice party that was grand. That was a special event. We also had an anniversary party because, as we've told you, this group started a little over a year ago, and all those things were great fun. But we've also done some things that were on a little more serious level. There are events and causes in Austin that we, as part of the community, participate in. There was a march that some of us participated in as atheists against hate crimes. There's some other things that. How about you, Don? Do you have some other things you remember?
Well, the dinners I thought were real special. I enjoyed those a lot. That was great. I also see the group doing a lot of things that are more in the educational realm, and this is one of them. This is a direction that the group has decided to make that we feel is important. We want our viewpoint to be validated. We want our public officials and our fellow citizens to have an idea where we're coming from. We want to not be, for example, we don't want to be forced to participate in religious rituals. Sometimes religious people have a hard time understanding why we don't feel that way. We want to educate folks. We're not trying we're not trying to convert anybody. We do not want to participate in religious rituals. We don't want to be forced to do that. And that includes prayer in the city council, or I have a 7-year-old daughter. I don't want her forced to participate in prayer in school or go stand in the hall. I think that's pretty important.
Very good.
Wasn't there also a city council proclamation that the Atheist Community of Austin was involved in?
Oh, that's very true. That's very true. One of our members began the push for this. Rodney developed the proclamation and pushed it through, got it signed, and
What exactly was that proclamation saying?
Proclamation was declaring a week. This was in November of '96. A give thanks for separation of church and state week. and it was a mayoral proclamation, and we are very grateful for the separation of church and state, and wish that everyone else was too,
And they
because it's a
observed.
cornerstone of freedom in this country. We all got to go down to or as many of us as wanted to, went down to the city council and heard the proclamation read by the mayor, met the mayor. We had a short statement that one of our members made, and then we got to sit through the council prayer at the opening of their session. So it was very interesting and eye-opening
And ironic.
for all of us.
Educational.
Ironic also, absolutely.
For us.
Now, where do atheists get their morals? A lot of people feel that you have to have a religion or something of a religion to have any morals or any ideas about what's right and wrong. Tell us briefly, where do atheists get their morals if they have no religion or God?
Well, that's being stated by a lot of cultural anthropologists these days, and I can give you one interpretation, and that is that that man becomes a moral animal, and that's taken from the book The Moral Animal, through experience of sharing.
If I can just jump in, I
You
feel
heard what
like
I said earlier. I'm losing it. I'm sorry.
I feel like people develop their morals, or in general, people develop their morals from their parents. The early influences of parents, it just can't be denied. In my family, my mom's grandfather was an atheist, and her mother was raised in an atheist home. And in my mom's home, as she grew up as a little girl, it was a strict home where religion was not discussed, but people had very high, what you would call moral standards. They didn't think people should drink. They didn't think people should smoke. They didn't think people should swear. At that time, they didn't even think people should get divorced, and they were incredibly honest. These are people you could play dice with over the phone, and religion didn't play a part of it. It was just that was what they felt and what they passed on to their children. I think atheists are as moral, or more so, than anybody out there.
I can agree with that. Even more so, definitely. Why should an atheist join the Atheist Community of Austin? There's a lot of atheists in Austin, we know this. But why should they join this particular group? And why should they come to meetings and participate? And what is there to gain overall for an atheist?
Well, I'd like for them to come because I'd like to meet them. I'd like to know who they are. I think the people that have come to the group have been an interesting bunch, and I can't wait to meet more. For their own personal point of view, I think that they feel justified and validated by being able to talk about their views openly with people who agree with them.
And I agree with that. I think that they would like to meet us. I think we have a great group. We share a lot of things, and yet we're diverse in a lot of ways. And we want them to come so that they can add to the group. We enjoy the social aspect. We also enjoy the activist aspect, and we need diversity.
And an atheist out in our community now should be aware that their rights are being threatened. The atheist or secular point of view is perceived as a threat by a lot of people out there in society. If they want to work against that kind of thing, if they don't want to have to participate in religious rituals against their will, if they don't want to see their children forced to pray in school, if they don't want to see their tax dollars used to support religious institutions, then I think they would like to be involved in a group that feels the same way. We can band together and make headway.
All right. I understand the Atheist Community of Austin also has a website now. Is that correct?
That's true. And anybody that wants to find us on the web, we're at www.atheist-community.com. Also, we have a voicemail number at 371-2911.
And remember, that's a dash between the atheist and the community, not a dot. I tried to get hold of that, and it's a beautiful website. We've had some folks that did incredible work to get that together, and there's a lot of information, a lot of tough information, and a lot of jokes, a lot of humor, a lot of information that you could use.
I really enjoy the humor, and plus there are links to other atheist organizations across the country and the world. You can really get out there and find the other folks.
If you're interested, it's a really good point. If you're interested in meeting some of the people here who want to, and you want to contact us, get together with us, call the voicemail, get on the website, and learn some more.
I have also one more question. A lot of atheists are probably going to ask upon first contacting the Atheist Community of Austin is, what kind of person is the Atheist Community of Austin looking for? What kind of atheist, what kind of interests should the person have, or if there are any limitations on the attitude, or what kind of a person, I mean, only atheists, is that it, or are there other people who are welcome? I mean, what is the stand there?
We're open to non-believers. If you call yourself a humanist, agnostic, if you're atheist friendly and you want to come, talk to us, meet our group, you're welcome.
Absolutely. It doesn't cost anything. We're not gonna try to pry you away from your money. We enjoy real good conversation. It's a great bunch, and you won't be pressured to do or not do anything. But the people that have showed up and given it a chance that are non-believers, most of them are pretty regular now. It's a good bunch.
All right. Let's see, you meet weekly, is that correct?
Yes, we do. We meet every week, every Sunday.
What kind of meetings are they? What do? Do you just discuss, socialize, or is there actual business taking place, activities like that?
Well, we usually have a business section, but that takes place before our regular meeting. The board of directors meets, and we do our plotting and scheming and talk about where we're going to spend the money and things like that. And we get that out of the way. And then the regular meeting is pretty free form. Folks make announcements. There's usually stuff in the news that we bring up to discuss. This week has been a particularly good week. I think it's going to be a good meeting on Sunday.
And a heavy news week.
A heavy news week, absolutely. There's a lot to talk about. So it'll be good.
There have been some columns in the paper. Generally, people are going to bring those articles in. Lots of letters to the editor. We have a lot of people who are extremely good writers, and they've written some good letters, and they get published pretty often in the paper, espousing a lot of different subjects. We decide on some social issues, what we're going to do, some causes, anything of interest.
Let's talk about one issue with the time we have left. There is certainly a movement, if not orchestrated movement of some large size going on in America today, that is stating that according to the Constitution and the Founding Fathers, that there was no need for freedom from religion, and that only freedom of religion is guaranteed in the Constitution, and a lot of people are saying that that's all there needs to be. How do you address that? How do you tell people exactly your opinions on that? What is the need? What is the difference in the need between freedom from religion and freedom of religion as atheists see it?
I feel very strongly about that. First of all, there is no freedom of religion unless there is freedom from religion. You just can't have one without the other. It's a misdescription to say you can pick any religion you want as long as you pick a religion and call that religious freedom. That's just not correct. by having true religious freedom, where you have freedom from religion, freedom to believe or not believe, that not only is good for us, it's good for everybody. That gives everybody the freedom to think as they see fit. And I think that's the kind of freedom that our founding fathers had in mind. But I think it's the right way, whether it's what they had in mind or not.
So
I think
freedom
that's-
of religion would be covered under freedom from religion if there was that,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Well, actually, one necessitates the other, is that correct? I mean,
Yes.
in order to have freedom of religion, you're saying we have to also start out with freedom from religion.
Right.
If you so want, right? If you choose to opt out of a choice altogether, that's the question. And an atheist wants to do that, right?
That's what an atheist wants to do, but we also support anybody believing whatever they want. They have the right to do that. We support their right to believe, and we find that we have allies who support our right not to believe. And those are our friends, and but there's some out there that say that you shouldn't have that freedom, that you need to pick one from column A or column B, but you got to have a religion or a God or something like that. And that's not right. That's not true. It just doesn't work.
Do you find there are some religious people also who agree with you that freedom from religion is necessary in this country?
Yes, absolutely. We have allies among the religious. There are large groups that are involved that involve many religious groups that, for example, support strict separation of church and state. And I don't see how we can say that those people are anything but our friends, because that increases our freedom. That gives the atmosphere where religious freedom can truly blossom when the church and state are not interconnected.
Well, there are a few things that have been called violations of separation of church and state right here in Austin. First of all, we mentioned this a minute ago about prayers in city council meetings, but there is also a monument to the Ten Commandments at the U.S. Capitol, the state capitol, Texas state capitol. And exactly how do atheists feel about these? Are these really considered to be violations, or are they just minor little problems that the religious impose upon other people that should be ignored or blown off? Is there something that is important in that? Do atheists feel that these are real violations?
I feel it's an important, if they're symbolic. They're symbolic of the oh God, I can't do this. I think they're symbolic of how Christianity specifically is held as infiltrating every area. One of the things that we all deal with every day is money. And, there we have God. Well, somebody's God. Who's God? Which God? But these little symbols are saying to us that we don't have the freedom. This is our government, too.
There are probably some violations that are more serious than others. Having said that, though, having a monument on the grounds of the state capitol kind of says to me that it's not my capital. Mm-hmm. It's sort of saying it's the Christians run the place, and it's true that the majority of people in this country are Christians. Having paid taxes for a long time and served in the military of this country, I kind of claim it. And I feel that behavior like that, putting religious symbols, statements, or practices in the government or on government property is if nothing else, it's rude.
Don, that's true. There are estimates that at least 10% of the population are non-believers. And that's probably a very low estimate. So that means that there are at least 26 million Americans who are non-believers. So this is our country, too.
It is our country, too, and it's very tiresome to hear our religious counterparts pretend that we don't exist.
We're here today, and obviously we do exist. That's one thing I'd like to do now that I have this opportunity, is I would like to proudly and publicly proclaim that I am an atheist, and that I am happy this way. I live a clean and respectable, decent, upstanding life. I pay taxes, I work full-time. I'm a father of 2, I'm college educated, and I did spend some time in the U.S. military. So if there are any religious out there who feel that atheists are incapable of being ethical, moral, upstanding, clean, respectable Americans, patriots, then I'm living proof they're wrong. Also, I have 2 others here who are just like me in that respect, that they're atheists and still respectable citizens and patriots. Would you like to add to that at all?
I would. The lady sitting next to me here works with the mentally ill. That's a very difficult occupation, and she does it with a smile on her face. I think that's just wonderful, and I'm proud to know you, Sue, and I'm proud that you're an atheist, a fellow atheist.
Thanks, Don. You know, I feel the same way.
All right. I guess we're getting closer to the end of our program. Once more, I'd like to ask if we could repeat the web address for the Atheist Community of Austin.
Sure, that's www.atheist-community.org. And please call and leave us a message at 371-2911. Thank you.
And that's our voicemail.
Okay, well, we expect to hear from you. If you're interested in meeting fellow atheists, if you want to call and get some information about atheism and our group.
Yes, don't be afraid to call. We're definitely an upbeat, happy group of atheists, and when we meet, it's lighthearted. We have good times, a good sense of humor, joke around a lot. We do also have some serious work to do, and our activities are often based on activist ideas and ideals, but also our group meetings are very lighthearted. Like I said, we laugh just like other people, and when we do get together, we always welcome anyone who would like to join us. And was there much else to say?
Join us for our future programs. We're
Thank you
going to
very
have a
much.
weekly spot, and hope to bring you some more information. Bye.
My name's Joe Zamecki, Sue and Don. We thank you very much.
All right.
Have a good day.
Thank you.